Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today we have our JMS 1:144 HG Gundam SCHWARZETTE. This is from the Witch from Mercury series that JMS has bootleg, and it really looks good and it feels wonderful. So let's talk about the articulation. It has the same articulation as the Witch from Mercury kits, although I would say that this has better design or has a better fit when it comes to the arms. The articulation on the arms is very much similar to the aerial. The lower section, or the crotch section, is a little bit bare, but what it lacks there makes up for the legs. The legs has a lot of articulation, a lot of great range and movement. I love the toe swivels, I love the ankle tilts, although there are some removable parts that are really a pain sometimes because they fall off, but it's a minor issue. Now the backpack has limited articulation. It has some holes where you can actually peg the sword in. We'll talk about that a little later, but it's very similar to the aerial. It's plain. Now let's talk about the sword. The sword looks fantastic. It is a huge sword. It has a lot of pegs where you can actually connect it to the side ports of the mobile suit, and we'll talk more about the gimmicks a little later. So let's assemble this kit. Now, as I have assembled this kit, it had very to minimal issues. I had zero problems, almost zero, I would say, problems connecting it. The fittings are fantastic. I had no issues with the ports and the pegs connecting to each other. And the wonderful thing about this is that there was nothing loose in this kit. There was nothing that would swivel or wobble as you build it, and I just really had a fantastic time. It was a stress-free building, actually, and I've connected the backpack and it really fits wonderfully to the kit. Now let's have the sword. You could actually put the sword down the back skirt, and it is a little bit wobbly when it comes to the legs, but let's do a little stress test, and bada bing, nothing falls off. It just is solid. It's just extremely solid. Now let's talk about the gimmicks. The sword has a beam blade and it looks great. You can actually separate that really big sword into smaller bits and reconnect them. We'll talk more about this a little later because you could connect that to the backpack, but it adds a lot of gimmick and it adds a lot of playability factor to this kit. Although the drawback is that it's just a chore to disconnect, disassemble, reconnect, reassemble to form certain modes of this Gundam or this mobile suit. So as you connect that, it becomes this really beautiful, really big sword. It reminds me of the sword from Berserk, again, the Dragon Slayer. It is just really fantastic. Now, I mentioned that the minimal issues would come with stability with the legs, but you can actually rotate the toes and it becomes a more stable version with the claw mode on the foot section of this kit. And if you do that, it just really is solid. It just holds a very great pose. It is very poseable as well. You can strike a lot of different poses. This one is one of my favorite. It just carries that sword nicely, and the movement and the range of the kit is just, I guess, really just limited with how you want to pose it because it's very stable. And it also is compatible with the stand. Now, mind you, the stand that came along with this was the problem. It was so brittle. It was a crystal clear stand, and as I cut it, it just broke off. Now, if you don't want the big sword mode, you can go with the katana mode. The katana looks fantastic. I love that purple, or not purple, I'm sorry, it's the pink beam saber effect, and it looks really wonderful. It's like almost bloody red in appearance if you have that beam on the sword, and it just looks badass. Now, you could do tons of different poses as well and movement when it comes to the backpack. Now, the backpack becomes a connector piece for the bits of the sword. It's either you make it like X-wings, or this one is very reminiscent to the new Gundam. The new Gundam reminds me a lot about this pose right here. You could use that as fin funnels, and it looks really fantastic. I am just overwhelmed and just very happy about this, to think that they were able to bootleg or KO such a fantastic kit. Now, another thing that came along with this kit were the water slide decals, and I think that it really is looking great as it is, but if you like water slides, then to each his own. Now let's talk about the things that I like about this kit. Definitely the plastic quality. JMS has superior plastic quality with most of the bootleg kits right now. It's a solid figure, nothing loose. It's undergated and has great accessories and gimmicks that would make you pose this kit and have tons of fun striking poses and taking pictures of this wonderful, wonderful kit. Now, as much as I want to give praises to this kit, there are still some flaws to this. And mind you, they're very minimal. So please don't expect that this is going to be Bandai quality. This is still a bootleg. So the action stand that comes along with this is pretty brittle. The instructions for the water slide are not around, and the accessories can be cumbersome. Now, qualms set aside, the JMS 1:144 HG SCHWARZETTE Gundam is still overall an 8.5 out of 10. And that's pretty much all the time that we have for today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, hit the like, and thank you for your awesomeness. And remember folks, till all are one, peace out, rock and roll, bye!